Every day, you consume foods that look clean, yet they are silently accumulating chemicals within. The truth is, you have the power to change that, starting with the very soil beneath your feet. Look at the handful of soil in your palm. If all you see is lifeless dirt, then you are the perfect victim of a century-long brainwashing campaign, one designed to turn you into a permanent debtor to agrochemical corporations. I'm not talking about shiny bottles of growth stimulants or chemical fertilizers reeking of sulfur. I'm talking about mycorrhizae, a biological neural network that has operated this planet for 450 million years, long before human internet ever existed. This is the ultimate survival alliance, where plant roots and fungi join forces to create biological fiber optic cables, helping plants absorb nutrients and water 100 times more efficiently than normal. Why is it that primeval forests have never needed a single bag of chemical fertilizer, yet remain eternally lush for millions of years, while your garden withers the moment it lacks expensive chemical supplements? Using only kitchen waste and an incredibly simple method, you can create bio-fertilizer, the substance that transforms barren dirt into living soil and turns ordinary vegetables into truly healthy superfoods. Today, I am going to guide you through the process, starting from zero. The history of life on land is, in essence, the history of the greatest cooperative contract of all time. To understand why we need mycorrhizae, let's turn back the clock 450 million years to when the first plants attempted to leave the ocean to conquer the mainland. At that time, plant roots did not yet exist. They were merely simple cells incapable of searching for water and minerals in an arid environment. It was ancient fungal hyphae that reached out, embracing these plants to become the first borrowed root system, allowing green life to blanket the globe. This relationship became known to the modern world thanks to the work of German botanist Albert Bernhard Frank in 1885. He was the first to name this phenomenon mycorrhizae, literally meaning fungus root. Frank observed that the healthiest trees were not those standing in isolation, but those whose roots were enveloped in a fine fungal mantle. He dedicated his life to proving that this was not a parasitic disease, but a vital symbiosis. Frank once wrote, "Plants do not merely live off the soil, they live through connection." However, his legacy was overshadowed for a century by the rise of quick-fix industrial solutions. Imagine your plant roots are no longer solitary suction tubes, but the hubs of a super transportation network stretching for miles underground. This is the miracle of symbiotic science. When mycorrhizae spores come into contact with plant roots, they don't attack. Instead, they seek permission to integrate into the cellular structure. These ultrafine fungal filaments, known as hyphae, begin to reach out 100 times further than a conventional root system ever could. While plant roots act like slow-moving highways, these hyphae are high-speed fiber optic networks, maneuvering into microscopic crevices in the soil to collect phosphorus molecules and trace elements that roots could never reach. This mechanism operates like an incredibly fair biological stock market. Through photosynthesis, plants produce sugars and carbon, energy currencies that fungi cannot create on their own. The plant transfers about 20 to 30% of these sugars down to the roots to pay the fungi for their labor. In exchange, mycorrhizae provide the plant with an abundant water supply and essential minerals, particularly the ability to mobilize phosphorus more effectively than any commercial fertilizer in the world. This exchange occurs with astonishing speed and absolute precision, helping the plant develop a formidable natural immune system. But transport efficiency isn't everything. This network also functions as an early warning system. When one tree in the network is attacked by pests or disease, it sends chemical signals through the hyphae to neighboring plants. Consequently, those not yet under attack can begin producing defensive compounds before the enemy even arrives. This represents a level of resource management and security that no multi-million-dollar smart irrigation or fertilization system can replicate. When you nurture mycorrhizae, you aren't just fertilizing a plant, you are building a collective brain for your entire garden, transforming it into a living entity capable of self-regulation, self-defense, and perfect resource optimization.
Now, I will provide you with the key to conducting a health revolution right in your own garden through the process of creating high-purity bio-organic fertilizer. Forget about untreated bags of manure riddled with pathogens and heavy metals. What we are about to create is a superfood for the soil, costing next to nothing, yet possessing a nutritional value 20 times higher than commercial products. The first step is gathering golden waste, nitrogen-rich plant byproducts such as bean stalks, banana peels, high in potassium, and especially the roots of the healthiest weeds in your garden. The secret lies in not letting them rot through natural decay, but rather through controlled anaerobic fermentation. Finely chop all these materials and mix them with rice bran and molasses, an inexpensive yet powerful fuel to activate indigenous microorganisms, or IMO. The critical point for making this fertilizer truly health-conscious is the addition of a fungal primer from the trap crop roots mentioned earlier. When mycorrhizal filaments combine with cellulose-decomposing bacteria, they create a perfect transformation, turning raw organic compounds into humic acid and chelated minerals. This is the form that plants can absorb instantly without leaving any toxic nitrate residues in the leaves. After approximately 21 to 30 days of incubation in a sealed container, your mixture will turn a deep amber color and emit the aroma of fermentation or forest soil after rain. This is more than just fertilizer. It is a micro-ecosystem containing billions of beneficial bacteria that suppress root rot pathogens, completely eliminating the need for chemical pesticides. When you apply this fertilizer, you aren't just feeding a plant, you are purifying your family's food source, ensuring that every vegetable and every fruit carries its original nutritional content and absolute safety for human cells. You have now officially established a bio-recycling factory where waste becomes the source of life and health autonomy begins from the very heart of Mother Earth.
Beginning to nurture a fungal network beneath the soil is more than just a gardening technique. It is an act of silent resistance against the control of industrial systems that seek to monopolize our survival. Every time you share a handful of fungal primer roots with a neighbor or guide someone on how to propagate spores themselves, you are helping to dismantle the dependency inherent in consumerist agriculture. This is a movement that needs no banners. It is spread through the vitality of the crops and the abundance of the land. Consider subscribing and sharing this information as an act of empowering a free knowledge network, helping those around you realize that they already possess every resource necessary to feed their families. We are not just supporting a YouTube channel, we are building a community of food and knowledge autonomy together. The journey to reestablish the natural order has only just begun. In the next video, I will reveal an even more astonishing secret: how structured water can trigger these fungal spores to germinate twice as fast and completely transform a plant's drought resistance. Be prepared, for the source code of life still has many layers waiting to be decoded.